Ethereum just hit $2,500. Is the altcoin season actually starting? Today, I'll show you exactly how I am playing this early stage of the bull market. And you still have to be very careful. You have to know which altcoin sectors to be positioned in and the types of altcoin to take on right now, because it always goes by different risk tiers. And when altcoin season first starts, you have to target the large caps first instead of jumping head into the low caps and getting yourself burned. So that's on the agenda for today. If you guys are new here, welcome. My name is Dennis. I'm a crypto angel investor for the past 6 years, and I have invested in over 100 crypto startups. On this channel, I share views on market trends and investing strategy to build wealth in crypto. Really quick, let's just make sure that we're here. Yes, we are. Okay. So, where are we? Yeah. Before we start, make sure to follow me on X at VirtualBacon0x. So I see a lot of people complaining, over the last week when I posted the Ethereum video that, oh, your price is 1 week old. But I pinned a comment on that video as well. You really have to follow me on text format in order to get my up-to-date signals and setups, because the videos take at least like 3-4 days to edit, and you can see on the timestamp on the video it's from last week, and last week Ethereum was 1900, this week it's 2400. I couldn't tell you exactly to buy 4 days ago to catch a 20% pump, and that also isn't the point, because literally in the video I'm talking about 2026 targets. So you really have to adjust the different types of videos for what they are. If you're watching a video that's talking about Ethereum reaching $10,000 over the next year and a half, don't worry about a weekly move. But if you're watching a live stream like this, which I plan to do more of, then we're going to be talking about more short-term stuff, more level-to-level price action, which is actually more relevant, and they do have to be live. So that's also why I'll be doing a lot more live streams to cover trading positions on a weekly basis. So make sure to subscribe to the channel to not miss these. Okay, let's set the stage here. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, all three, I believe, will be making new all-time highs. And I have covered Bitcoin strategy and Ethereum strategy already over the long term in my last two videos. The next video coming up that's fully edited, produced, is going to be about Solana, so stay tuned for that. Usually when the bull market actually starts, Bitcoin runs first, Bitcoin reaches all-time high, like what we have from yesterday. Bitcoin actually got to 104,000 again. Ethereum and Solana are both going to follow quite soon, going towards their all-time highs. This is the exact type of setup which signals the start of the previous altcoin seasons. Now, if you're new here and you believe, you just hear of this word altcoin season, you might think, oh, I need to buy like low cap $10 million altcoin now. That's not the case, because altcoin seasons, they happen one step at a time. You remember those charts that were first popularized by Red Capital. You have the money flow in crypto, you have Bitcoin pumping, Ethereum, now it's Solana and the large caps as well, probably even like XRP, Cardano, and then you have your mid caps, low caps, etc. So you have to start from the top. And the reason why is because if you go straight into the low caps, what you're going to end up happening is you take on a lot more risk, but your coins do not move while the large caps move first. And this is also a big reason why I see, a lot of people on crypto Twitter, especially, they don't want to buy Ethereum right now, but they are completely missing the point. Ethereum needs to keep running in order for your low cap shitcoins to run. This always has been the case. So there's no point in fading Ethereum and saying, oh, my meme is going to pump faster than Ethereum. That rarely happens if it's a true alt season. So, okay, I have covered a bit more in depth about this type of thinking of how you should be positioned in your portfolio in my last live stream, I believe, right here. So crypto portfolio update. So a lot of people got quite confused and triggered here as well, because the title says I sold over half of my crypto portfolio, but if you actually just watched 5 minutes of the video, you would see that I sold low caps. nearly all of my low cap holdings below 300 million I have sold on March 20th. As you can see on this log here, update log. And I did not keep them in cash. Instead, I used the proceeds to buy more Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and some Beam, some Ampleforth, which haven't run too much. So I really should have just stuck to buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. This has really not only kept my portfolio afloat, but also outperformed. So let me show you why right now. Let me show you the real data. People are saying, oh, I cannot believe you sold like blah, blah, altcoin that I held at a lower dollar price than right now. But the key here is, did your coin go up faster than Bitcoin over the past 2 months? And did it outperform Ethereum and Solana over the past 2 months? So there's a very simple way that you can visualize this. Just go on TradingView, and there is a handy index called Others, which is the total crypto market cap excluding the top 10. So it excludes Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and some top 10 leaders. Also excludes USDT, very important. And what you can do here is compare Others market cap divided by Bitcoin. And you see from March 20th, altcoins out of the top 10 has underperformed against Bitcoin. And it's just starting to catch up over the last week. Even right now, compared to March 20th, you are down if you held on average altcoins outside of the top 10 versus holding Bitcoin. Okay, so why would you do that? And even more interesting, you can compare Others versus Ethereum. And you see right here. So from March 20th, we were 0.98. Now we're at 0.92. So holding Ethereum versus holding on average other altcoins out of the top 10, you made money. You made more money. You can do the same thing, Others divided by Solana, right? Compare from now, from March 20th to right now, you see 3.5 to 3.9. So other altcoins underperformed Solana. And even more so, this will involve some of the other altcoins we'll mention today, but if you had held market leaders in the top narratives, AI, gaming, layer 1, but Ethereum, Solana is already layer 1, RWA, meme, you outperformed altcoins on average. Any other smaller altcoins, even though they usually, people think they bounce faster, they do not in this early stage. So here we have Others, altcoins outside of the top 10 divided by Superverse, which is the #1 gaming altcoin that is still relevant today. And you see over the past 2 months, Super has outperformed other altcoins by a lot, by nearly, what is this, percentage wise? By nearly 40%. So if you held even like a low cap altcoin, your chances are you would have underperformed against the #1 gaming coin. And similarly, here's BitTensor Tau. If you just held BitTensor, on average, you outperform the altcoin market by about 40% since April 4th. And here is PEPE, my meme coin of choice for this cycle. And you see same thing since March 8th, let's say since the last live stream that I made, March 20th, you outperform the market overall on average by 40%. So that just goes to show you I did not make the wrong call. I made the right call, just that people don't have math in their heads and they only can think in dollar terms. And if they do not nail the absolute bottom in USD price, they think somehow they're missing out. But the point of having a portfolio anyways is to outperform, is to on average be positioned in the coins that run faster. So as long as you are positioned in the right coins, you don't have to be nailing every coin's bottom and only sell them when they're going up, because there are always going to be stronger performers with lower risk, and that's the whole point. So just wanted to give this caveat there of this type of thinking. I'm not going to explain it much further. If you don't understand this, I mean, like, why even have a portfolio? Just if you can only hold a coin that you just love so much, then just go ahead and hold that coin. In a bull market, it will go up, even if you're holding a very low cap, but you're not making the best out of your portfolio, and it's actually not the best advice to be taking on so much risk right now. Okay, so that sets the stage for today, which is I'm going to be focusing on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and only very established altcoins, a few that are in the most trending narratives, the most proven narratives. I'm not going to be talking about like any new, like very innovative stuff, because that's not the time for it right now. So first of all, how resilient, how durable is this market reversal? So we're seeing, of course, Bitcoin nearing its all-time high, reaching 105K even yesterday. And you see Bitcoin dominance starting to drop a little bit over the past week. Is this going to drop continuously here? Truth be told, I don't know. There are a few factors that you got to consider, which I believe are still going to have some chop over the next 3 months at least. So first is the tariff news. This morning, Trump has made a very bullish announcement, and he says that US China have reached a full reset on their tariff negotiations, and they have a full pause. Now, the TLDR here is that right here, if I can scroll to the right here. So they have a 90-day pause on both sides to not raise tariffs again until the 90 days are over. And right now, the US has lowered from 145% tariff to 30%, and China has lowered from 125% to 10%. There is the potential for a escalation again after 90 days. However, Trump says he doesn't expect the tariffs on Chinese imports to return to the levels as high as 145%. And also, if you actually follow the news, in today's announcement coming from Scott Bessent, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, he actually stated multiple times that one of the core things that they accomplished is that they have this framework, this process to pause before escalation. So after the 90 days are over, if the two sides don't agree, they will simply, try to negotiate again and come to a lower term instead of stacking on top of each other until one side caves. So this is the major, true announcement that you can take away from this, whether that's 145%, 10%, 30%, whatever. Don't read into the numbers. I don't think that matters at all. What really matters here is that we have a 90-day period where there's not going to be any escalation. And after the 90 days are over, they're not going to just blindly shoot, trade war shots at each other anymore. Instead, it's going to be much more gradual. And this is a scenario that we have seen before with 9 pauses that the US has made with Canada and with Mexico in the same format. And look at how it's going right now. They don't have any more crazy news coming from Trump anymore in those fronts. Same thing is going to happen between US and China fronts. So TLDR here is that most likely tariff wars will be over because US-China has the worst situation that they needed to resolve. This is honestly very bullish. I never really cared about tariffs, and I have said about this, talked about this many times since Trump, made the crazy tariff storms and declarations that he did when he first came into office. And I still stand by that. Tariffs are just a negotiating tactic. And now that all the sides are just going to be negotiating under the table, I don't think you should follow tariff news anymore. We're not going to have escalation anymore. So next 90 days is probably the final deadline. As long as we don't have, US-China breaking up again after 90 days, should be good. So this is the last period of chop we could see. And then on the other side that could affect altcoins is global liquidity. So I have made updates to global liquidity every time we talk about altcoins. You can follow my last live stream right here. You can follow my Ethereum video right here, all talking about the same indicator, which is this. The global liquidity index that you can use on TradingView. So what we needed to see is for global liquidity to reverse to the upside, establish a new uptrend. And we have seen early signs of that already. So you see, ever since December 2021, global liquidity has been consistently in a downtrend. Lower highs, lower lows. That's this purple line here that you see. And just this week, we finally had a higher low, a breakout, you see, above diagonal resistance. And whether you follow, diagonal TA or you follow, higher low, higher high, this is the first sign of global liquidity reaching a higher high, establishing a new uptrend. And look at what happened to risk-on markets, altcoin markets, right when this level broke, right when global liquidity got above the September 15, 2024 highs. So first of all, we have Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance right away started to drop. And then you have Ethereum, Bitcoin. Major rally right here, right after this crossover here, right here, where global liquidity made a new higher high. Because we have not made a new higher high for the past, what is this? At least 2 years, if you count March 2023. If you don't count this, then that would have been over 3 years. So this is a telltale sign that liquidity conditions are definitely improving. And potentially we could be seeing a full pivot coming from the Fed soon. Now, the fundamentals actually agree with this as well. As you guys know from my last coverage on QE, so the Fed has a last stance before they make their pause on QT. And when they made their announcement in March, they said that in April, they will be slowing the rundown of their balance sheet to the minimum $5 billion per month for Treasury securities. And that obviously has happened in April. Combined with that, we have another liquidity injection that has happened in April. That is the Treasury General Account, or the TGA account right here. So if you just Google TGA account, you can track this directly. This is the checking account of the US Treasury. And when this account gets drained and it goes down, this is actually liquidity positive, because this is essentially the US government using their checking account, spending that money to inject liquidity somewhere, okay? And usually when this happens, this year, the projected usage of the TGA account is to get us over the US debt ceiling. So by August of this year, the US needs to raise its debt ceiling again. Otherwise, the US government won't have more debt, they will default on its debt because they have to be always paying extra interest on top. And this is quickly approaching. We're already at May. So when the debt ceiling situation needs to be resolved, usually the TGA account gets drained and it goes lower, which is liquidity positive. And that's what we saw from February until April. And likely we should see the TGA account continue to drain from now until August. But caveat there is that once the debt ceiling is resolved and it's either suspended or raised again, the TGA account will need to be filled back up to usually their normal level. You see here, the normal level over the last 2 years is about $700 to $800 billion. So that liquidity is going to be sucked out of the system again in after August. So that gives us potentially short-term liquidity injection from now until August, but after August, that could be reversed from the TGA account. That's another sign that tells me, okay, we could have short-term altcoin season, but whether it durably lasts or not, it's not clear. Okay. So ultimately, with the TGA account fluctuation, with this debt ceiling situation, and with tariffs, both sides need to be resolved in one way and one way only, which is the Fed. So the Fed still has to make their pivot. They have to pause QT this year, and they have to, in some way, do QE in a stealth way. And that's what we're likely to see on the global liquidity index. If this is going to be a new uptrend, like, so we have made a higher low right here. Okay. We have low, lower high, lower low, higher high. Are we going to make a higher low somewhere here? When this happens, right, this is probably going to be somewhere over here in Q4, like this. And if this can happen, this is probably some sort of full QT pause coming from the Fed. So we still need to see this step happen. The early signs are there, but it's not in the clear yet. And this is another reason why I don't think you should be, just like fully into like hodl altcoin mode where, you believe altcoins are only going to shoot up now. I don't think the time is there yet. Give it another, either we are already in Q4 or the Fed comes out and announces the QT pause. Both would be really much better signals for you to make that call. Right now, it's still kind of a relief rally traders market per se. And if you're feeling, risky and you want to take on risk, I really would just target large caps, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and one, maybe two altcoins in each sector. Really target the large caps. This is going to give you, first of all, the best bang for your buck because we're early alt season. That's how the money flows. And second, these coins are not going to die. So you don't have that high risk, even if we come down again. Okay. So that's all of the background. And quickly, let's get into some levels. So first of all, Bitcoin, I'm just going to give you very straight up how you can play Bitcoin in this market. And that's with the SMA for this cycle. So this Bitcoin bull run, twice now, actually nearly 3 times now, Bitcoin has touched the 50-day simple moving average and bounced from it. So very simple, as long as Bitcoin stays above the 50-day simple moving average, this is the bull market. And anywhere you get close to the 50-week SMA, you buy. Very simple. If Bitcoin closes below the 50-week SMA, you got to really consider probably a good time to get out of the market and call it over. But until that happens, Bitcoin is very, very safe to hold because it's just consistently macro uptrend. Okay, very simple. Next, we have Ethereum. So Ethereum, this bounce, if you're just looking to hold and you believe Ethereum is heading to 10K plus like I do over the next 1 to 1.5 years, then we're at 2,500. Like, why do you care whether we are at 2,000 or 2,500? That doesn't matter at all. So if you're looking to just buy and hold for the long term, totally okay to just buy right now. Same as last week, same as 2 weeks ago, whatever. But if you're looking to trade, then I would say on a daily time frame, we are already at resistance. So take a look at this. Right here is a Fibonacci retracement coming from December highs to the April lows. And you see we are right between that 382 and 0.5 Fibonacci retracement zone. And similarly, this is September to August 2024 resistance right around here. So you see on the daily, many tests back here. And this level now is being tested, but I don't know if we're going to just blast off from here like this. So if you're looking to take a trade, obviously shorting at this stage of the market is not a good idea. So what I would do is if you have a position already and you're looking to trade short term, this is a good point to take profit for a trader. And if you are looking to take on a position, I would target at 0.236 level, right around 2100. So pre-breakout levels over here. Okay. And you just target a higher low like this. And if we get a pullback, we should stop somewhere in this range if Ethereum is actually going to show a uptrend again. And something like this would tell you, okay, it's a reversal pattern, head and shoulders, whatever you want to call it, higher low. And you basically, you enter here, you have a macro low for stop loss below here. So that's going to be a much better position to trade for long positions. I would only take shorts right now if you are truly like feeling so frisky that you want to short on the first breakout. But again, personally, I wouldn't do that at all. So that's on Ethereum. I think it's this rally is getting to a pretty good level where if you're a trader, you can take some profits for the short term and wait for a reload. And Solana, honestly, very similar scenario. So Fibonacci retracement, you see we're right between 0.382 and 0.5. And you see resistance right around here, which were December levels. Okay, 3 touches right here at around 183. So we peaked at 181 on this rally. And for reload, I would target somewhere between 140 to 150. So kind of right in this box. You have these two highs. If it comes down at all, it will be something like this. This will be a much better position to be, playing from strength. You have higher lows, and even worst case scenario, you have down here, but highly unlikely for this to happen. So yeah, exact same scenario. I wouldn't chase. I would wait for a pullback. And then I think what's really interesting now is large caps. So right after Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana runs, usually what happens? Well, you have layer ones start to run, especially the layer ones that retail really likes to trade. And this is going to be controversial, but retail loves to trade XRP. And however, I don't think XRP is a good buy at these ranges. I've made my point quite clear in my last video about XRP, which you can check out. I believe it's back here. Yeah, right here. 5 months ago. This was when XRP was right around like $2 range. And over the past 6 months, it has been just ranging, right, between 250 to like 260. This is weird, honestly. Like, this is not 250, $2 to, let's say, 290. Okay. This, yeah, I don't know if I'm a buyer in these range. I think there are better value buys if you are looking to take on this retail crowd that's going to be coming in and targeting the layer one coins that they have access to. Now, back 5 months ago, I have already made my full list covering the typical coins that this retail crowd targets. XRP, Cardano, Stellar Lumens, HBAR, Algorand, XDC, IOTA, etc. So on that list, I've analyzed everything and compared everything. And the main criteria there is that I want a coin that hasn't pumped and it has a low unit price. It's listed everywhere, especially in the US exchanges like Robinhood, Coinbase. It needs to have great tokenomics, nearly all the supply circulating. It needs to be close to the bear market lows. And it needs to be very similar in the narrative to XRP and Cardano, which is ISO 20022 compliant, very institutional driven coin, etc. So on that list, 6 months ago, I liked Algorand. Algorand is the one that really fits that category. And I have 2 today. So Algorand, where's my chart? Algorand, again, starting to slowly show signs of strength with an uptrend. I think this is much better bet compared to XRP. If XRP runs, this thing is going to run faster. Now, there is one other that is picking up a lot of strength, and I actually don't have it here, but it's IOTA. So 6 months ago, when I last looked into IOTA, they weren't doing anything at all. It was still just this legacy coin that seemed quite abandoned, but since then, they have made a ton of updates. So without getting into too much details, aside from the tokenomics and long history, trading everywhere, etc., accessible to the US crowd, IOTA is now a Move-based layer 1 blockchain. So they are the third Move VM to launch to the market after Sui and Aptos. And so this puts them directly in the hyper-scalable blockchain category. Very next-gen, like layer 1 tech. Complete pivot, honestly, from this like very legacy system to next-gen. So this, again, puts them front and center when it comes to narrative. Move as a programming language, as a technology stack, is the third stack that's actually relevant today, right after EVM and SVM. So I think this is cool, and this shows that they're actually working on something. The IOTA Move VM mainnet is called Rebased, and this just launched last week. And you see here, IOTA, very similar price action over the past year, slowly starting to trend up in an uptrend. Much better tokenomics than, honestly, like most other layer 1s out there. You have market cap 908 million. What is this? FDV 1.1. You have this coin's been trading since 2017, accessible on every single exchange, right? Coming from US-based target in the same category as XRP and all other payment coins that the US retail crowd really likes. This is a good bet, I think, to tap into the layer 1 retail coin narrative that the XRP crowd usually likes to look at and compare themselves with. So this is IOTA. To follow on with Algorand, I think these two are much better bets in terms of just the same criteria, same basket of coins. Okay, and then right after layer 1s, then you have the leading narratives. You have AI, gaming, meme coins, RWA, and some DeFi. I will only like to target DeFi on Solana specifically for trading, because I think that's one sector that's actually prime for some innovation. So let's get into that first. So I have held one coin that's very unique on my portfolio for over 6 months now, and that's SwissBorg. So SwissBorg is the one of two competitors to Jupiter. So when the retail crowd comes back in, there's the institutional side that really likes to tap into Ethereum and RWAs, etc. The retail crowd, they really like to trade on Solana. So right now, Jupiter has still nearly a monopoly when it comes to the trading ecosystem on Solana. They have the DEX aggregator, that's Jupiter. They have the, what is it called? DLMM, the on-chain market making LP pool platform. That's Meteora. This is actually the same team as Jupiter. They have Moonshot, which is the mobile app that's actually owned by Jupiter. So it's basically like all the pipeline is Jupiter. So you trade any memes, Solana coin, it's Jupiter. And this is, I don't like this, obviously. And there has been quite a lot of shady stuff coming out from this pipeline already. With like Millennia, with the Argentina coin, etc. Like they're all launched in the same pipeline. So people are getting fed up with it. And I have held SwissBorg for quite a while because they are one of the only competitors that has a fully working DEX aggregator targeting Solana. And they have a mobile app. So SwissBorg has a retail-focused mobile app that's been running since 2018. And they are fully plugged into the Solana ecosystem. So what you can do is, using the SwissBorg app, you can use your credit card to buy any on-chain token on Solana or on any chains that matter. Ethereum, I believe they have AVAX, probably Base. They have some major integrations coming up as well. I've heard leaks and rumors about this, but I don't want to speculate on this too much, but there's a new chain coming up that's quite significant. So this is one of the only few mobile competitors. In fact, I think the only mobile competitor to the Moonshot Jupiter trading flow for Solana. So this is why I like SwissBorg. And I think when the retail crowd comes back in and they want to trade on Solana, I really want to see these guys succeed instead of everyone just flooding back into Jupiter again and just buying every coin they launch. That's people know what they're doing now. Okay, the other competitor that is not focused on mobile but actually focused on the DLMM, so a competitor to Meteora, is this coin called Saros. So Saros is quite new. I don't see anyone that have mentioned it recently, but it's been up a lot. And it's quite an accessible coin. You can find it on most exchanges already. So Saros, their main technology to compete with Jupiter is their DLMM. So for those of you that don't know, so DLMM is when you can deposit liquidity, not in a flat curve, but instead you can do on-chain market making. Like Uniswap v3, but in a more in a bucket format, so anyone can do it. This is the main reason why, one of the main reasons why Solana trading is better than Ethereum-based EVM trading is because of DLMM. A lot of people can deposit liquidity and buy and sell, kind of acting as limit orders, but earn a lot of fees. So Meteora has a monopoly until recently when Saros also launched their DLMM on Solana, because Meteora is actually closed source. So these the DLMM launched by Saros is developed by Trader Joe, who are actually the inventors before Meteora. So they actually came up with DLMM on AVAX before, and this works really well on the Trader Joe decentralized exchange, and now they're bringing this on Solana in partnership with Saros. And Saros is originally founded by the Coin98 team, which is a very established team coming out of, I believe, Vietnam. They're one of the biggest DeFi tech firms out of Vietnam. And yeah, so this is another like serious competitor that can compete with Meteora. And I have a position in this as well. I think this is honestly much more interesting if we see on-chain trading again. And again, Saros, SwissBorg, etc. These are all coins that are very established, over 200 million market cap. I'm not touching low caps. The most I'm going to do if the meme coin trading wave comes back is to buy the infrastructure right now. You can just buy Jupiter if you want, but I don't think there's going to be that much more upside on this versus Solana. You might as well just buy Solana. Okay, so that's a little bit of DeFi and what I would do to gain some more exposure on the meme side of Solana. And then the rest of it, very simple. You have the 4 sectors that I like and I have stuck to over the past 2 years: gaming, AI, RWA, memes. And in gaming, the only coin you need is Superverse. So Super is the only gaming coin in the gaming coin rankings that is still pushing new updates very regularly. They continue to revamp themselves over the past 2 years, even when nobody is doing gaming. And this really shows in their performance recently. So they have teased some sort of launch that is coming up for super stakers. So make sure you're staked your super tokens if you hold any. And look at their performance. Ever since the bear market lows in October 2023, they are the only coin that has held not only above the bear market lows, but also held above 2024's low in the summer, right around 40 cents. You see it bounced right from 40 cents. So this leads to a very happy community. As long as you have held this coin, you did not make a new low and you were protected against the rest of the market. So this is by far the only gaming coin that has had this type of performance, even when nobody's touching gaming. So this is why, as long as you believe gaming will have its time to shine in crypto as a category, I believe Super is the only coin that will keep their diehard community to push this forward. And this is why I continue to hold Super, and it's been like over, like, what is this? Nearly 2 years now that I've held it. And yeah, it's my number one exposure to gaming. Honestly, in this type of market, it's all you need. Okay, then we have the AI sector. And also, very simple, you just need BitTensor. So BitTensor is really becoming the Bitcoin of the AI category. Every AI crypto is exploring integrating BitTensor using BitTensor subnets now. And BitTensor is the AI altcoin that I've held the longest. Also, it's showing the most strength, as we have compared just earlier. When you compare other altcoins against BitTensor, you see they are underperforming against BitTensor by a lot. Even though BitTensor is already 4 billion market cap, it's still already bounced 2x from the lows. It's honestly like starting to be pretty reasonable to project BitTensor to get into like top 20 or even top 10 rankings. It's currently at top 30. It's not that far away anymore. So this is going to be one of the giants of this cycle. And I hold BitTensor. I've held it since forever. I would say you can start to look out for some more BitTensor ecosystem projects, because there has been a very significant update that came out in February of this year. This is called Dynamic Tau. I don't want to dive too deep into this, but essentially what this, the core thing that matters that this enabled is subnet tokens. So very simply put, when you incorporate BitTensor into your AI crypto project now, you can have a subnet token that's fully integrated into the BitTensor layer 1. So it's a whole layer 1 ecosystem going forward. A lot of people still don't know this. So this means you can build a lot of stuff on BitTensor coming up: DeFi, lending, trading, tokenization, whatever, launch pools, launch pads, etc. So look out for that. I don't really have any picks for you yet, but this is one sector that I would like to get into more of soon. Yeah, so that's what I would get into now to get early exposure to, in this stage of the bull market, to the AI narrative. And then you have memes. So meme, the one meme coin that I've held the longest is PEPE. Honestly, PEPE is the meme coin that is the chosen child of this cycle. It's the Doge of this cycle. And we have shown already that PEPE has outperformed, on average, most other altcoins by a lot. And people will try to fade it and say, oh, PEPE is already at 5 billion market cap. But just over this past month, right, PEPE went from 2 billion to 5 billion. Like, while your low cap altcoins can barely make it from 100 to 120 million. This is just how the market works. So don't think about it too much. Don't overthink it. I just continue to hold PEPE for easiest exposure to memes. There is one other, and that's Pudgy Penguins. If it can load. So Pudgy Penguins is having quite a strong comeback from April lows as well. Most airdrop recipients have sold this already. So I wouldn't say Pudgy Penguins is a like phenomenon or anything. A lot of people say this, but I think Pudgy Penguins really only capture crypto Twitter in a English-speaking crowd, crypto Twitter, but it really captures it well. So whenever crypto Twitter is popular, there's a lot of people talking on there. There's a lot of attention. PENGU pumps. Everyone loves it there. If you talk about PENGU, like, you're just universally loved. Whereas even on YouTube, not that many people care about PENGU. Same in the same way that not a lot of people care about NFTs on YouTube, but a lot of people still care about NFTs on Twitter. So if you're into crypto Twitter, if you're into NFTs, the core like English speaking like crypto Twitter community, PENGU is the coin to gain exposure to that. I think there's some value in that as well. I wouldn't say PENGU is going to be like everywhere like other people say, but at least they are able to capture one significant portion of the crypto community. And it's basically a consensus trade now on crypto Twitter for PENGU. So I I don't have a position yet, but I'm looking to build one. And last but not least, that leaves us with the RWA sector. So RWAs is interesting because after Mantra, really, like what happened there, I did not see this coming. And I sold Mantra quite a while ago. I don't remember when, but it's documented here. Like probably somewhere down here when it was pretty high. Yeah, here. Sold partial October, sold the other half November. Okay, so I nearly dodged this by like 3 months. I did not expect this to happen. And truth be told, now I'm pretty like hesitant to touch any low float, high FDV RWA coins, even like Ondo, Ethena. I don't know how I feel about them anymore. And I still hold XLR. And I feel pretty comfortable holding it, even though it doesn't have like as much hype. The FDV compared to market cap, the ratio is really good. So this is at least one thing I know that, okay, nobody's going to be unlocking a shit ton of tokens from here to dump on me, even though the performance is honestly like pretty poor because XLR, they just fail to catch hype. So I've been looking for something to get into in the RWA category. And one thing that's very interesting that I've studied for 3-4 months now is Chintai CHEX or CHEX. So this is one coin that pumped a lot last year. And now you see consolidation for about 4 months already. So Chintai, at first look, it looks kind of mid-curve, to be honest. It looks very institutional, very legacy, but this is actually what sets them apart. So after talking with the team extensively over the past 3-4 months, they are actually the only technology provider, SaaS provider, that works for institutions, not for the on-chain, layer 1 side. What do I mean by that? You must have heard this thing called the Buildo Fund that BlackRock launched, where they have this tokenized fund trading on Ethereum. Now, the network side is just Ethereum mainnet, Solana, whatever, like public blockchains. But the core custodian and the tokenization client-facing side that interfaces with BlackRock is this company called Securitize, and they're fully backed by BlackRock. Now, Chintai is the only technology provider that is comparable to Securitize in the market today. So a lot of these layer 1 blockchains that do tokenization, they actually don't have a client-facing side to target the institutions. And under the hood, they're actually interfaced with Chintai. And this is why their platform looks very legacy. Their whole presentation is not meant for, like DeFi or degens. They're actually meant for institutional clients. And this is why I think this play could be getting, it could be actually a very unique play. So I'm looking to take a position in this, and honestly, current ranges is all quite good because it's been 3 months of consolidation. So they're fully regulated in Singapore with the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and they are looking to launch in the US side as well quite soon with more funds coming up. Not a lot more that I can talk about it right now, but I have heard that they have a lot of actual integrations with fund managers, with people that are looking to tokenize their existing assets on-chain and are looking for a SaaS provider. And Chintai is that middle ground, just like Securitize. Instead of having to launch a layer 1 blockchain first, and then they don't have any asset under management. So this is one coin that I'm looking to get some exposure into for RWAs. I don't know if this is going to be like long-term portfolio per se, because market cap wise, it's not that high compared to others that ideally long-term I would like to target over 1 billion for any coins that I put into long-term portfolio now. But yeah, For RWA, this is one coin that I think it's still very interesting. And look at it, like market cap compared to FDV, 100% circulating nearly. So can't really go wrong with these. Much safer kind of a scenario compared to Ondo, Mantra, basically any other layer 1 RWA chain that launches. There's going to be a lot of those. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about those anymore. Okay, so that's RWA category, and that's about it. So I've covered about 7-8 coins. Most of these are 500 million, $1 billion, $2 billion dollar market cap. I think that's the range that you got to target still. You got to go for large caps. In this stage of the market, we're not in the clear yet. So by targeting these, you will have outsized returns like I have shown already. Just by being positioned in Ethereum, you outperform the market. By being positioned in Solana, you outperform the market. Being positioned in Super, in Tau, in PEPE, you outperform the market. So don't listen to other people telling you you're not. The real math is right here. So just because you didn't nail the bottom and the top on a low cap doesn't mean, on average, it's a good idea. On average, the best bet right now is to be positioned in the market leaders. And that's what I will continue to do. For now, let's see how it goes week after week. Let's say like next week, really Bitcoin dominance just like falls off a cliff. Maybe we take on more risk, but week after week, we got to play it by year. I'm not fully convinced that this is going to be full on alt season just yet. We're going to be making more live streams on a weekly basis. So subscribe to the channel if you are looking for more trading style, up to date when it comes to price action like this. Hopefully we can do it every week. And for really live updates, make sure to follow me on Twitter or X at VirtualBacon0x for my quickest alpha before I make them even into live streams. And last but not least, from now on, when you follow my portfolio, I'm only going to be talking about long-term portfolio from now on. So anything I put into my portfolio is going to be long-term. Only going to be making very scarce updates there, just so that we're clear on what we're doing here. If you're looking at a portfolio update, don't expect me to make updates every week and trying to trade that, because that's not what it's meant for. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next live stream.